Hello, tacticians! Inspiration is just like explosive diarrhea. You never know when it strikes. So once again, I couldn't decide what Mythic Journey I should do next, when I noticed a YouTube alert popping up on my phone, and lo and behold, it was a viewer asking for help with Ulf. Now, while I'm not really a fan of Ulf or the Space Wolves in general, I definitely am a fan of my viewers, so thank you, Sebigradu2342, for giving me the kick in the butt I needed to get to work again. Mission 1. Defeat 7 enemies with Ulf in one turn. This mission is definitely meant to showcase Ulf's passive auto-chopping everything, everywhere, all at once, and there are essentially two ways to go about it. And I'm gonna skim over the less available but more funny way. Bait out a wave of enemies with an active ability to use adjacent to Ulf, which could work against the Thousand Sun Screamers, the Eldari Harlequins, and the Orc Boys with their stick bombs. The second and more readily available way is to bring Ulf to an Indomitus stage with Scarabs, where you can tuck Ulf behind the other teammates for a few turns while the Scarabs multiply, such as normal Indomitus stage 31, and then let the Scarabs move to him for some vigorous axing.
The first mission of Ulf's Mythic Journey supposedly requires him to defeat 7 enemies in one turn, which I think is going to be very possible here in the Indomitus campaign in the normal stage 31, using the Scarabs. Now, I'm gonna position Ulf like this, hiding him behind the other heroes, and let the Scarabs multiply a bit while I will kill some of the other enemies using, well, like this, using Dante and Thaddeus, so that the Scarabs have plenty of room to spread, which they are stubbornly refusing to do. The reason I chose Scarabs over Grots, which are my usual go-to for infinite kills, is that the Grots are so very slow, although it would also definitely be possible with them. And what the hell is this with the Scarabs not spreading at all? Come on! Finally! Alright, so I'm gonna need a total of 8 stacks on the map, because the first stack isn't a summon, so Wolf under no circumstances would auto-chop them, well, except for the moment when they decide to spread adjacent to him. And killing the first stack so that I can bust Ulf out is actually the reason I brought Bellator and Thaddeus, because either of them should be able to do that in just one attack. Yeah, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know what, I'm gonna kill the original one, which is this one, and you can tell because it doesn't have the summon trait. Oh, and it doesn't have a rarity. Cool, didn't know that. So, you die. And my original plan was to just put Wolf there. And I don't think that's gonna work actually, because, or well, it would have needed more Scarabs than just 7 on the map, because the 2 Scarabs that would be adjacent to him will not get auto-chopped. So Scarabs need to move to Ulf for the passive to trigger. So I'm actually gonna wait until there are 9 stacks of Scarabs on the map. There, that's 8. And that's 9. And now, in theory, if I make room like this... No, that's not gonna work, because there is now no hex where the scarabs can move to Ulf. They all are already in place. Okay, I'm screwing this up. So change of plans. I'm gonna move Bellator away. And now the scarabs should be wanting to go to this hex because my Ulf is kinda squishy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's the mission done. Not without some hiccups. I could have done that smarter and provide a more elegant footage, but hey, this is more genuine like that. Anyway, that's the first Wolf's mission done, and I can move on.
Mission 2. Deal 9000 damage with Ulf in one turn while on an ice hex. Normally, I recommend to do missions like this in the guild raid or in the arena, but this one is cheesable and elite in the mythos. With some trial and error, I made it work in stage 39.
The second mission of Ulf's Mythic Journey supposedly requires him to deal 9000 damage in one turn while he is standing on an ice hex. And that should be possible here in Elite Indomitus stage 39, where the Scarab Swarms have 900 HP each, so he only needs to auto-chop 10 of them in one enemy turn. And I think I have an idea on how to do just that. So with this setup, I'm gonna position Ulf here, run Nicodemus to him, and Bellator as well. Thaddeus goes here, and Dante drops onto the bridge. Now I'm gonna kill the other enemies with Thaddeus after doing a little jiggy, starting with the death marks because they are annoying. And the main problem here is having to actually heal Nicodemus. Cool. That's not an original stack, but that shouldn't really be a problem. There. I want to put Dante there adjacent to Thaddeus so that Thaddeus can fire. So that's why I attacked the stack with Dante to bring it to one-shotable and then to follow up with Thaddeus to kill it. There. Also, I will want to at some point kill all the scarabs that are not summons, so the two original stacks. But right now the priority is to take out the death marks so that Nicodemus has an easier job keeping himself alive. I'm stupid, I could have attacked the flayed one with Bellator. So I'm gonna do that while I remember to. There, another death mark dead. Good. And any original scarabs attackable? Oh yes, this stack was original, not a summon, so it needs to go. There. And where is the other one? Here. So these also need to go. Okay, so far so good. Now Thaddeus probably is fully aimed with his active, so I'm gonna just use it to snipe that death mark. And the warriors next. I should have healed Nicodemus. I'm unfocused, sorry. It's too hot and I've been at this for a while now. I already screwed up once in a spectacular fashion. I actually did complete the mission, but I thought I didn't. And the footage was kinda shit. Anyway, now I need to save Dante, I think. Do I? I don't think I do. I'm gonna not worry about it. So the next step is to fill the west half of the map with scarabs. I'm just gonna keep passing turns for a bit. So I'm gonna time skip now. Okay, now I think I have enough scarabs and I have slowed down the game to normal speed to make this easier to follow and count. I'm gonna need to kill this stack here. Then I will move Alf here and use his active here on the stack that's on the ice. And that fucked me over because Thaddeus cannot move through ice. Cool! I was expecting to put him here and finish off the stack of scarabs from there, so I should have moved him before I used Ulf's active. But at this point that should still be fine because the ice will stay here for a bit. And Ulf is on ice. Oh, and the scarabs are moving to that vacated hex anyway, so this is skill number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and that should be roughly 18,000 damage done completing the mission. Calculated. So now I just need to, complete the stage and the mission should be completed. At least in theory, if I were on it. There, just die, please. Okay, and that's roughly how you can sort of reliably cheese Wolf's second mission. Moving on.
Mission 3. Defeat 150 enemies with Ulf, and Mission 5. Deal 100,000 damage with Ulf. These two are functionally the same mission and easily automatable in, for example, Elite Mirror Octarius 7.
I'm gonna do the practical on Ulf's third and fifth mission together, because the third mission supposedly requires him to kill 150 enemies, and the mission 5 supposedly requires him to deal 100,000 damage, which here in Elite Mirror Octarius 7 is 165 or so summoned grots, so it's basically the same mission. So I'm gonna start by positioning as usual like this, and I'm gonna put the game speed back to fastest after the second Mythic Journey mission. Then I will use Dante to kill all the ranged enemies. Then I will face spawn because I positioned Ulf wrong, but that's okay, that happens in heat like this. There, now Dante can finish off the last tank. Good, the grots are already mitosising to get more of them out. Now kill this one, pass turn. Kill this one because he's on a bridge, so that will never scare the grots adjacent to him and will make for Dante to kill the last one. That was smart. Okay, now move Dante back up. And jump him to safety. Good. Now I'm gonna reset Izzy's Act of Faith by critting, and everything should be set now. All that's needed is for the grots to make their way to Ulf. There. And once his passive has killed enough of them for your respective mission, which you can check by checking is this act of faith. Remember, there's a plus 10% crit chance for every kill that Ulf scores. You are done. See, this is how easy it is. So I'm pretty sure by now you got the idea. So this is where I'm gonna cut the recording and move on.
Mission 4. Defeat 2 enemies that have the stunt effect with Ulf in one turn. This mission is a roster check and I can see it being an absolute nightmare. With Niall, this mission is trivial in normal Indomitus 31.
The fourth mission of Ulf's Mythic Journey supposedly requires him to defeat 2 stunned enemy units in one turn, and that should also be doable here in Indomitus stage 31 with the right setup and with Niall, because when Niall hits a flying unit with his active, he will stun it, and coincidentally, scarabs are flying units. So I'm gonna wait for the scarabs to sprout a few more stacks. There. Okay, this should be fine. It probably already was fine a while ago, but this should be even more fine. And well, I'm gonna use Niall's active. Wait, actually I need to make sure that everything that will move to Ulf is a summon. So this stack needs to go. That was the original one. There. And now I can stun these 3 stacks, dodge with Bellator, and now I'm assuming that at least 2 of the stacks will end up on this hex adjacent to Ulf when they are trying to attack Mataneo or Ulf, who are my squishies here. So that's 1, that's 2, and that should be the mission done. So all that is left to do now is to clear the stage, which I will not bother with because you've seen that in the first practical, and I can move on. And that is exactly how I would go about my Ulf's Mythic Journey if, he were on it. Seeing how not really useful he is nowadays, I will certainly not be pushing mine. But any dedicated Space Wolves fans are very welcome to push theirs. Also, dedicated Space Wolves fans will probably have Arjack and Niall, so going through the stun missions is not going to be too much of a problem for them. And with that, I think I reached the end of this video, and so have you. So thank you for watching, Tactician. I hope you found it helpful or at least entertaining, and to see you again soon. Kaurin, out.